Why we're building a 790-mile wire from Kansas to Indiana. The electricity powering the screen you're watching this video on was most likely generated moments ago at some kind of power plant within a few hundred miles of you. Today, most electricity in the United States is still generated at natural gas or coal plants, which are advantageous because they can be built almost anywhere. However, they have significant environmental drawbacks, contributing to climate change with dire predictions about our planet's future. In contrast, some types of power plants, like hydroelectric dams, can only be built in specific locations. Wind farms, for example, require areas with consistent wind. Over the past few years, there has been a substantial increase in the number of wind farms, especially in states like Kansas. While this is great for Kansas, the problem arises because the population density there is relatively low. The real demand for this electricity is in more populated areas, where people and businesses need reliable power. The challenge, then, is to transport this electricity from where it's generated in places like Kansas to where it's needed, such as more populous states. Enter the Grain Belt Express, a groundbreaking project designed to solve this problem. On the surface, the Grain Belt Express is a straightforward concept, a massive wire stretching from Kansas to Indiana. The idea is to channel the electricity generated in Kansas through this wire so it can be utilized in other states. However, the execution of this idea is far from simple. Sending enough electricity to power 3.2 million homes halfway across the country through a single wire involves numerous technical complexities. The power grid in the United States is divided into three major sections: the Eastern Interconnection, the Western Interconnection, and the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, ERCOT. Each section is interconnected with numerous transmission lines, which carry electricity from generation points to end users. The majority of these transmission lines are short or medium-distance alternating current, AC lines. AC lines are prevalent because the electricity in these wires switches direction multiple times per second, 60 times per second in the United States, 50 times per second in Europe, and both in Japan. This alternating nature of the current makes it easier to step the voltage up or down using transformers, which is essential for integrating various types of appliances into the power grid. If we used direct current, DC instead, we would need separate power grids for different types of appliances, which would be a logistical nightmare. Despite their convenience, typical AC transmission lines have limitations. They can only run about 155 miles or 250 kilometers between the power generation site and the destination. If you tried to transport electricity generated in Kansas to a house in Indiana using AC lines, a significant portion of the electricity would be lost as heat along the way, making the process inefficient. To overcome this, the Grain Belt Express will use high-voltage direct current (HVDC) technology. HVDC lines, also known as electrical superhighways, transport electricity as direct current at extremely high voltages. Unlike AC lines, HVDC lines do not have alternating currents, which significantly reduces energy loss as heat. This makes HVDC lines much more efficient for long-distance electricity transmission. However, building HVDC lines is complex and expensive. Connecting HVDC lines to the existing power grid requires giant converter stations to convert direct current back into alternating current. These converter stations are costly and add to the complexity of the project. Despite these challenges, HVDC technology is the best solution for transporting large amounts of electricity over long distances. The Grain Belt Express will begin in western Kansas, where it will collect wind-generated electricity. The line will then transport this electricity across the Midwest, with a converter station in Missouri where some of the power will be distributed. The remaining electricity will continue to the Indiana border, where it will connect to the PJM interconnection grid, serving multiple states in the eastern United States. This project is expected to take several years to complete, involving construction, archaeological surveys, land rights negotiations, and an estimated $7 billion investment. Despite the complexity and cost, the Grain Belt Express is a crucial step towards a more sustainable and efficient energy infrastructure. The United States' current reliance on fossil fuels for electricity generation is unsustainable in the long term. Projects like the Grain Belt Express are essential for transitioning to renewable energy sources. By efficiently transporting wind-generated electricity from areas with abundant wind resources to areas with high demand, the Grain Belt Express will help reduce reliance on fossil fuels and lower greenhouse gas emissions. In conclusion, the Grain Belt Express represents a significant advancement in renewable energy transmission. It addresses the challenge of transporting electricity from regions where it is generated to regions where it is needed. The use of HVDC technology in this project highlights the innovative solutions being implemented to create a more efficient and sustainable power grid. This project is not just about building a wire, it's about building a future where renewable energy can be effectively integrated into our daily lives, reducing our environmental impact and paving the way for a more sustainable world. The Grain Belt Express is a testament to the potential of renewable energy projects to transform our energy landscape. As we continue to develop and implement these technologies, we move closer to a future where clean, renewable energy powers our homes, businesses, and industries. This project is a significant step in that direction, demonstrating the importance of innovation and investment in renewable energy infrastructure. The successful completion of the Grain Belt Express will serve as a model for future projects, showing that it is possible to overcome the challenges of long-distance electricity transmission and make renewable energy a viable and reliable source of power for millions of people. By investing in projects like this, we can create a more sustainable and resilient energy system that benefits both the environment and society as a whole. In summary, the Grain Belt Express is more than just a 790-mile wire from Kansas to Indiana. It is a symbol of progress and a critical component of our transition to a sustainable energy future. By harnessing the power of wind and utilizing cutting-edge HVDC technology, this project will help bridge the gap between renewable energy generation and consumption, paving the way for a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable world.